how's your wife and the son?
Man, wife and son are really good, man. Yeah, it's actually my youngest. I've got 4 kids now, so my youngest is just 1.5. My other son is turning 3 in August. I've got an 8-year-old girl and a boy who just turned 11 in May. So, my full house.
I can see, brother. So, and congrats on your album on Strength in Numbers. I would just want to know what's behind the name Strength in Numbers.
Yeah, Strength in Numbers was basically me finally looking outward, more into Africa in terms of like collabing and working with people. We did the first album, Half the Legend, whereas I felt like I was halfway to my dreams, halfway to the status I wanted to be at. Then we did African Hustler Music, which was kind of the music that was going to get me to where I wanted to go to. Then we did Pride, which was my main fault, that I have too much pride, that would stop me from getting there. Then we had the Chosen album, which is me realizing what my role is in East Africa and as a rapper, as an OG and a godfather of the game out here. And so this album is now really looking out. It's like, okay, I've done enough investigating about myself. Now it's time to kind of take everything I've learned and share it with Africa, and push East Africa further, So the album was about Strength in Numbers, what we can accomplish when we come together.
Okay. And this is your first album since in 5 years after The Chosen, right?
Yeah, it's about, I think The Chosen dropped end of 2016, 2017. So it's 3 years, actually.
3 years.
3 years. 3 years since the last album. Hectic.
Yeah. So let's talk about the features. You have Joe McKinney, Vanessa Mdee, Burna Boy, Seishe, Calligraph, The Myth, King Sa, Ice Prince, and many more. You got a lot of features on the album. How did you get all of this? Was it hectic to have all of them?
Not so much, because I'm not a guy who believes in paying for collaborations or begging for collaborations or running after artists. I really, that's why I like working with artists who are my friends, artists who I know. Those are the people you can kind of trust to also promote the song, So I worked on this project. I really worked with who I felt like working with. I'm like, I could work with the biggest, I could work with the best. If they're the biggest and the best, that's cool. But I really wanted to work with people who I just thought were dope, like who I'm a fan of. So I just worked with people who, I thought were really dope on the continent right now, man. And they just happened to be, a lot of them that were my friends, thank God. So it made it smooth.
Who was the first to do the collab? Who was the first to record, and who was the last?
The first person I got on record was Lay Lizzy from Mozambique. I got the Lay Lizzy collab. The last person to record was Calligraph. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are happy that you have 2 Tanzanians on the album, Vanessa and Joe McKinney.
Man, I know those are not enough, man. I need more excuses. I need more excuses to come to Tanzania.
Of course, and of course, you also did a collab with Izobi. You remember his song?
Yes. Yeah. Walala Hoy.
Yeah, Walala Hoy remix. It was a banger, man.
Bruh, that thing was crazy. We hustle out here. They know that the rapper that been making paper.
Yeah.
I struggle and came up. You want to shit tells you can save it for later. 30 awards and a couple of toes. I don't dwell in the hater. I don't need the flaws. They know I'm a boss. I run the equator.
You still remember the lyrics, right?
I got to this ease of business, this big business, you know what I mean? I gotta remember.
Okay, you have only The Myth on the album from your clear-cut friends. Why?
Yeah, man, that's who could fit on, man, at the time, Langman has just had a baby out in Germany. Papito's opening businesses every other week. Myth is still kind of in the industry, and JB, of course, is half promoter, half artist as well, and he's in Canada. So it wasn't really, who's here, who's not. The song was right for him. you know, even if they were here, that particular song, you know, with Ice Prince and him was just, it fit him like a glove. You know, that's his niche. So I needed him for it more than anyone.
Yes. And speaking of having kids, having children, I saw you posted a picture with Juliana. You congratulated her on her birth of her son. How was the joy, sharing the joy with her?
Yeah, man, it's really amazing, man. I mean, you know, of course, everyone knows she lost her son.
Yeah.
You know, she lost a son a few years ago. And not even a few years ago, a long time ago. And I think this was kind of God's way of giving her back something, you know. I don't know how to break it down, but I think it's just a beautiful thing, you know. She's kind of been given another chance, you know, to be a mother to a beautiful baby boy.
Yes.
And I know that she wants to, and she's got all the energy to, from what she's been missing out with her son who passed away, man. So I'm more than 100, like, yo, I'm over the moon about it, so happy about it. And a lot of people were saying that picture was taken 9 months ago, and it's a lie.
What is the truth then?
So, yeah, that the baby is not mine.
Okay. I didn't know about this.
No. It was just people messing around online, but they know what's up.
Okay. Well, I also would like to congratulate you on your online album launch, which is kind of rare to see.
Yeah, man. Like, really, I think it was maybe one of the first, like, really live ones. I think we probably the first for Uganda, definitely.
Yeah.
And the first kind of album launch, a really live one, not like, you know, pre-rehearsed, pre-recorded. I think it was one of the first for Africa.
That was live? That was
I'm
live?
really proud of, really. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
It was, man.
The production was dope, man.
Thank you, man. We had to struggle to get it right. Yeah, it took a long time. We have a sound genius here called Edson. So he didn't even have all the things that he needed to make the sound better. And he's been complaining about the sound ever since it came out. You know, he's like, oh man, this could have been better, that could have been better. But for the rest of us, everyone is like, yo, that thing sounded crazy, bro. Yeah, that thing was perfect, bro. But for him, he's still complaining. So I'm going to give him everything he needs next time, and we see if the sound is better.
Okay. And you released an album during this pandemic, coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah.
Has it affected your album release?
Yeah. A bad effect, you know, on the album release. But at the end of the my date on the 25th of April, because I feel like the fans deserve that. You know, there are people who are scared, people who are afraid, people who have lost, you know, fathers and sons. So in my view, I was like, if I said and I told the fans I was going to release on April 25th, you know, let's keep our promise to them, man. Whether it's Corona, whether it's Corona plus Ebola, whether it's COVID-20, you know, we and release the music. So I thought, let's just take the loss. You know, as I met my management team, they're like, you're crazy. But I was like, you know, let's take the loss if we have to. Release the album now, at least keep the people entertained. And show love, you know, first and foremost. That was the main idea, you know, behind. It actually ended up being good for us because we had people were at home, you know, people could order the app on a Boda app and get it delivered straight to them. So it ended up working for me, you know what I mean? So moving, you know, those 28,000 plus copies, you know, in the first 3 weeks has been amazing. And I think it goes to show that, you know, people still feel through the hard times, and music, you know, can accompany you and get you through the hardest of times, man. So there is strength in numbers, and I can see it now, and I'm glad I named my album that after seeing how people have reacted to it.
what could you have done if the pandemic was not around?
I would have toured out of at least 6 countries by now.
Okay.
We had a whole states tour planned, Europe as well, starting in Sweden and then moving out. So we had Europe sorted, the states sorted. I wanted to do a launch in Tanzania. I wanted to do one in Kenya. Full proper concerts, and just go out there and vibe with the people, have a good time. So there was going to be a lot of action missed, and those 13 dates in the States are really hurting because that was, going to prime payment. I don't know how else to say it. So that was going to be those 13 shows were going to be really good as well. But at the end of the day, we have to move forward. We have to find ways to find our audience. And I'm just glad that I get to do this music thing for a little while longer. There are a lot of people who've gone down from Corona and will never sing again. I'm just glad I get to do it.
Well, that's nice. So when are we expecting another music video from the album?
Yes. Brand new video is coming. We shot it. It's called Banji. It's spelled Bangi, but it's not Bangi.
Okay.
It's Banji.
Because I thought you were talking about weed here, man.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm Ugandan, okay? Yeah. We don't believe in that. Nah, kidding. So the song's called Banji, and it's a song about many. You've seen many things, many people. Banji, you've seen, in Banji, I've found a lot, but nothing's better than this one girl that I found. And the video is all about that. And having a good time, man. So it's Daddy Andre and Flex the Paper, who have been doing wonders in the industry right now. So we have them on the song. We shot the video in the most beautiful location in Uganda, Pineapple Bay on Lake Victoria. So I'm looking forward to releasing this, and the video should be dropping in a week. The single is going to be dropping in a few days. I'm happy, man.
Yeah. So let's go back in January during the Ugandan Hip Hop Awards. Joma King came there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Woo.
How was the reunion? How was the union? How was meeting Joma King?
Yo, Joe, man, me and him have been boys for a long time. We've been cool for a long time, but I haven't seen him come here enough. He hasn't been in Uganda enough. He has a lot of fans here, and I think he felt it. He thought he'd be coming just to see 1 or 2 people, but there's hundreds of people there. The press was lined up. The press don't just line up for anybody. The press lined up to interview him and talk to him and find out about different songs. And so he's one of those artists, man, who's been hot for a hot minute, and Uganda knows it. And now they could appreciate him. So he killed the UG Hip Hop Awards, man. I mean, literally, he did like maybe almost an hour set. He was supposed to perform for 10 minutes, and he just kept on going because he was feeling the vibe. And Uganda loved him, man. It's Joe McKinney. It's where was he? You know what I mean?
That's good news for East African hip hop, that you see fans from other countries for East African community, vibing with an artist from Tanzania. That's cool. Yeah. So,
definitely, man. I mean, it should happen more.
Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about East African rap scene. Are you satisfied with how we represent our region around the whole continent of Africa? I think like we are lagged behind. Yeah, well,
we could definitely be doing more. We could definitely be achieving more. There's a lot of stones that have been unturned, and I think it goes back to what I was preaching about. When I came through to TZ and Kenya on my last tour, I was like, if we're unified, there would be no Nigeria. The industry in Nigeria would not be where it is. If we were unified, there's no reason that a Joe McKinney or a AY or a 1FA song should drop and it doesn't drop in Uganda. There's no way a Diamond Platinum song should drop and it doesn't drop in Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, everywhere else. So that disconnect is really bad, and it means that we have some of our biggest fans split apart, you know, because even right now in East Africa, there are a lot of people who are juxtaposed. A lot of guys will say Diamond Platinums is one of the biggest acts, and then a lot of guys will say Chameleon is one of the biggest acts. But none of these guys have literally blown, like completely properly blown in each other's markets. You know, that's crazy to me. So I think we could be doing a lot more to kind of unify. You know, you've seen what unification did for America. The United States, they're all separate states that united. So I think as East Africa, as an industry at least, not our economies, but as an industry first, we need to unite. When Sauti Sol drops here, the song should be playing on the smallest radio station out there. You know, when a Navio song drops in Uganda, it should be playing on the biggest to smallest station in Tanzania and all around East Africa. If we support each other from here, I don't think you know, Niger music and whatnot would have gotten as big as it did, because between Benin, Ghana, Niger, the way music moves between there is like it's heavy. And remember, they have 40 million people living outside their country, so they have the diaspora pouring a whole bunch of pounds and dollars into their industry as well, and that really helps them.
Well, let's end up our interview by you telling or advising, you know, upcoming rappers, like a legendary advice from a brother. What would you tell them?
I'd say that you know, I'm sitting here with, you know, my 60 awards, and I've toured, you know, maybe over 30 countries for music, more than that. I've been in the game and been topping the charts every single year for the last 20 years that I've been doing this. And I can say right now that there is more to learn. So if you're an artist who's coming in the industry and you don't believe that there's more to learn, if I'm saying that there's more to learn, you know what I mean, and other big artists much bigger than me will tell you, Jay-Z himself will tell you there's always more to learn. So if you're not open to that and open to new waves, then I think that's when you disappear, man. You're stuck in your 3 years of when you made it in hip hop, or when you made it in pop, and you're stuck in that, then you're gonna stay there. You know what I mean? But if you accept what's happening, check out the kids, check out what's new. Don't be afraid of the next new thing. Try and improve on it. Try and bring it into your own style. Just make your style timeless, man. You know, I can kick a verse from 15 years ago and have people like, oh, you know, what does it take to make your style timeless? That's what I'd say to the people who are coming up.
Well, that was nice, brother.
Thank you.
Shit, they told me, young man, don't do it. You used to pull up on the block, cars filled with the dust. Told me, young man, don't do it. I open up shop anytime bottles pop. Was a young man gon' do it. She my ride or die, but got caught up in the lies. Got one fan, so that's stupid. Should be on the cruise ship. Arguing is useless, I swear I'ma change. Don't need the house, no, I don't need the fame. Don't need the doubts, no, I don't need the chains. Already ballin' and I'm not a crane. Explain, I never use you for sport. Abuse or abort, confuse and get lost. For you that's a loss. Load a magazine for you, you are the source. Hey, rather death than divorce, let bygones be bygones.